Hello, Los Angeles Dodgers fans. We've got fresh, exclusive videos and the latest updates just for you. Before we dive in, make sure to join our channel and hit that like button. This is the best way to stay on top of all the breaking news. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the Los Angeles Dodgers fan base, the team has designated longtime catcher Austin Barnes for assignment. For a player who's been synonymous with the Dodgers' clubhouse culture and stability behind the plate, this feels like the end of an era. Barnes was never the loudest voice in the room, nor the flashiest performer on the field, but he was steady, dependable, and deeply respected by teammates and coaches alike. His journey with the Dodgers began all the way back in 2015, when he was acquired in a trade with the Miami Marlins. Since then, he's worn Dodger blue for 11 seasons, watching stars rise and fall, but always holding down the fort as a reliable backup. It's almost poetic and painful that such longevity has met its end not with a send-off tour, but with a roster move. And not just any move, a DFA. Cold, calculated, necessary, maybe, but still hard to digest. Austin Barnes wasn't just a name on a lineup card. He was a symbol of consistency in a franchise that often embraces change. Whether Will Smith was launching home runs or Yasmani Grandal was managing the staff, Barnes was the quiet glue keeping things intact behind the scenes. His value wasn't always in his stat line. It was in the way he handled pitchers, managed game flow, and mentored younger teammates. That's why this move, prompted by the promotion of top prospect Dalton Rushing, feels so jarring. The business side of baseball has once again reared its head, and sentimentality had to make way for performance and potential. Still, for fans and players alike, Barnes' absence in the dugout will be a hard one to ignore. After all, you don't just replace 11 years of experience, camaraderie, and leadership overnight. Dalton Rushing's promotion signals a clear message from the Dodgers. The future is now. The young catcher has been tearing it up in AAA Oklahoma City and clearly forced the organization's hand. But even with his sky-high potential and growing buzz, it's impossible not to consider the weight of what his call-up means. The Dodgers had to clear both a 40-man and an active roster spot, and Barnes was the odd man out. That might make sense on paper. His offensive production had dipped significantly over the past few seasons, but emotionally, it stings. You don't just DFA your longest tenure position player without a few heartstrings getting tugged. Rushing has massive shoes to fill, not just in terms of talent, but in terms of legacy. He steps into a role previously held by one of the most quietly influential figures in the Dodgers' recent history. Barnes' stats this season certainly didn't help his case. In 13 games, he slashed just .214/.233/.286, with only 3 doubles and 2 RBIs to show for it. Offensively, he's been in decline, even with a slight bounce back last year. But his struggles weren't limited to the plate. He also failed to control the running game, a skill that had once been a key strength. In a league where every detail counts, the Dodgers couldn't afford to let nostalgia cloud their judgment. They needed production, defense, and long-term upside. With Rushing knocking on the door, the timing felt right. Still, that doesn't make it any easier to watch a player like Barnes, who's poured over a decade into this organization, exit stage left in such an abrupt fashion. What makes this situation even more emotional is Barnes' close friendship with Clayton Kershaw. The two have shared countless battery mate moments and mutual respect. Now, as Kershaw prepares to return from the 60-day IL to begin his 18th season with the Dodgers, he'll be doing so without his longtime companion. For Kershaw, who's often praised Barnes for his game calling and leadership, this moment must feel bittersweet. He's returning to the mound, but missing one of the constants in his professional life. Barnes wasn't just a teammate to Kershaw. He was a confidant, a strategist, and a familiar presence during countless intense playoff battles. That kind of bond isn't easily replaced, and it's a reminder that baseball, while driven by numbers, is deeply human. Back in 2022, when Barnes signed a 2-year, $7 million contract extension, he spoke with pride and optimism. He talked about being part of a championship-caliber organization and the World Series or nothing mindset that fueled his commitment. At the time, The Dodgers clearly saw enough value in his presence to lock him in through the 2024 season, with a $3.5 million team option for 2025 that was ultimately exercised. That decision now feels almost like a farewell gift, one final nod of respect to a player who had given so much. But baseball evolves quickly, and what made sense then doesn't necessarily align with today's roster needs. The game moves on, even when it feels like your heart hasn't caught up. What happens next for Barnes remains to be seen. As a veteran with a solid resume, leadership experience, and a reputation for clubhouse excellence, there's a good chance another team will give him an opportunity. He's the kind of player every contender loves to have in the dugout. Low maintenance, high character, and a calming presence during high-stakes games. Whether he lands with a team in need of backup help or perhaps takes a coaching role in the future, Barnes won't be far from the game. But Dodgers fans will undoubtedly feel his absence. This is more than a roster shuffle. It's the farewell of a steady presence who never sought the spotlight but earned every bit of respect he received. The Dodgers, meanwhile, are once again embracing the next generation. They've never shied away from tough decisions if it means improving the roster or opening a path for young talent. Dalton Rushing is part of that wave. He brings power, fresh legs, and the potential to be a cornerstone piece moving forward. But transitions like this are always layered. The arrival of new blood often comes with the exit of a familiar face. For every beginning, there's an end, and this end is one that marks the departure of not just a player, but a culture carrier. Rushing's success might eventually ease the sting, but for now, it's fair for fans to feel a mix of excitement and sadness. There's no denying the ruthlessness of Major League Baseball's roster mechanics. Being designated for assignment doesn't necessarily mean goodbye. It opens a 7-day window for trade, waiver claims, or reassignment. But more often than not, it signals the end of a chapter. For Austin Barnes, that chapter included World Series appearances, playoff heroics, and countless quiet moments of leadership. His fingerprints are all over this Dodgers era, even if they didn't always show up in the box score. The decision to DFA him wasn't personal, it was baseball. But for those who followed his journey, it's deeply personal nonetheless. He may leave the roster, but his impact? That lingers. As the Dodgers march into another season full of expectations, their decision to part ways with Austin Barnes serves as a reminder: no one is immune to change. The team is constantly evolving, chasing excellence, and willing to. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. The MLB world is buzzing with one of the biggest rumors of the season: Juan Soto to the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's right, the generational talent, the left-handed slugger who's taken baseball by storm since his debut with the Nationals, could be heading to Hollywood. While nothing has been confirmed yet, several insiders are pointing to serious talks between the Padres and Dodgers front offices, hinting at a potential blockbuster that would shake up the entire National League. The idea of Soto donning the iconic Dodger blue has fans split. Some are ecstatic, others are skeptical. But one thing's for sure: if this deal goes through, it could redefine the balance of power in the league, not just for this season, but for years to come. Let's break this down, because the implications of Juan Soto joining the Dodgers are far deeper than they first appear. Now, first, let's talk about why the Dodgers would even be interested. Sure, they already have one of the deepest lineups in baseball, filled with all-stars and MVPs. But if there's one thing we know about LA's front office, it's that they don't settle. They're always playing chess while the rest of the league plays checkers. Adding Soto isn't just about plugging another bat into the middle of the lineup. It's about legacy. It's about domination. It's about building an offense so fearsome that opposing pitchers are rattled before the first pitch. And let's not forget, Soto isn't just good. He's historic. His plate discipline is already among the best we've ever seen, and his ability to get on base is elite. Imagine him batting ahead of or behind guys like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. That's a nightmare for pitchers. That's a video game lineup. They're dealing with payroll constraints, and Soto is approaching free agency. If the front office doesn't believe they can re-sign him, The smart move, though painful, is to trade him while his value is sky high. And if the Dodgers are the ones offering the richest return in terms of prospects or major league-ready talent, the Padres may have no choice but to listen. Sometimes, it's business over rivalry, even in a fiercely competitive division like the NL West. Let's also talk about chemistry. If Soto joins the Dodgers, the locker room dynamics would be fascinating. He's known for his fun-loving personality, his swagger, and that famous Soto shuffle in the batter's box. It's not just his numbers that make an impact, it's the energy he brings. In LA, he'd be surrounded by a clubhouse that's not just talented, but mature, championship-tested, and tightly knit. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, these are leaders who know how to win and how to integrate new pieces. Soto wouldn't just fit in, he could thrive. And with manager Dave Roberts known for his player-first approach, there's little doubt Soto's transition would be smooth. This isn't about one star coming in and shaking things up negatively. It's about another elite talent joining a team that's already built to handle big names and big moments. Of course, fans are already dreaming. Social media is flooded with mock lineups, jersey edits, and heated debates. Where would he bat? What number would he wear? Who gets traded to make room? It's the kind of buzz you only get with truly seismic rumors. Dodgers fans, in particular, are torn between excitement and disbelief. Some think it's too good to be true, others are bracing for it to actually happen. Meanwhile, Padres fans are in a state of shock. Losing Soto, especially to the Dodgers, would feel like a betrayal, a sign of surrender. It would be a PR nightmare for San Diego, no matter how good the return. But in baseball, hard decisions are often necessary, and while fans react with heart, front offices move with strategy. If Soto's departure is inevitable, maybe the Padres want to control where he goes and what they get in return. Now, let's not forget the history. Trades between the Dodgers and Padres are rare, and when they happen, they're never small. These two teams are bitter rivals with no love lost. But in recent years, the dynamic has shifted. The Padres have tried to match the Dodgers move for move, often unsuccessfully. A Soto trade could either signal the end of that arms race, or its most dramatic escalation yet. Imagine the pressure on A.J. Preller, the Padres GM. He mortgaged much of the team's future to acquire Soto in the first place. If he flips him now, he better get a haul in return, or his tenure could be defined by this decision. On the flip side, Andrew Friedman of the Dodgers has built a reputation as one of the smartest executives in the game. If he pulls this off, it would be another masterclass in roster construction and risk management. As for Soto himself, there's no doubt he'd welcome the spotlight. This is a player who's thrived on the biggest stages, World Series games, home run derbies, all-star appearances. Moving to LA, one of the biggest media markets in the world, would only amplify his brand. And let's be honest, with his talent, charisma, and marketability, Juan Soto is made for Hollywood. He's already one of the faces of baseball, but on the Dodgers, he could become the face. Endorsements, commercials, international appeal, it all goes to the next level in LA. For a league desperately trying to grow its audience and attract young fans, having Soto in a Dodgers uniform would be a dream scenario. This isn't just a baseball move, it's a marketing earthquake. And it's exactly the kind of splash MLB could use in an era of declining ratings and growing competition for attention. And now we wait. Nothing is confirmed. No deals have been finalized. But the smoke is there, and where there's smoke, there's often fire. The baseball world is watching closely. Will Soto really join the Dodgers? Will the Padres actually go through with it? Or is this all just leverage for another team to jump in? One phone call, one meeting, one twist could change everything. But the fact that we're even talking about this tells you everything you need to know about the state of the league and the ambitions of the Dodgers. They're not content with being great. They want to be historic. And adding Juan Soto could be the move that turns an already elite team into an unstoppable force. Keep your notifications on, because if this goes down, it's going to be one of the biggest trades in recent MLB memory. Whether you love the Dodgers, hate them, or just love great baseball, you have to respect the magnitude of this moment. Juan Soto is one of the best players of his generation, and he may soon be playing for one of the most iconic franchises in sports. It's the kind of move that turns casual fans into diehards and shakes the foundations of a league. We're watching history in real time, or at least the rumor of it. And sometimes, those are the stories that become legends. So what do you think? Should the Dodgers pull the trigger? Should the Padres let him go? And if this happens, does it make LA the unquestioned favorite to win it all? Let me know in the comments. Smash that like button if you want SOTO and Dodger Blue. Subscribe for more updates, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned. This ride is just getting started. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.